What is going on, everybody? It's the Franz, and we're here for AEW Rampage and SmackDown reviews for August the 27th, 2021. We are a week away and 2 days away from All Out. And before we get into the reviews, I would be foolish if I didn't talk about what has been reported tonight. According to BodySlam.com's Cassidy Haynes, who reported that CM Punk and Bryan Danielson were going to be signing with AEW. He is now reporting that Bryan Danielson will not be debuting at Grand Slam. He will be debuting at All Out. That is huge. But isn't people have been wondering, because if you look up and down All Out, you got CM Punk and the Young Bucks versus the opponents that are going to happen in that cage tonight. And nothing else really big on that show. So people are wondering, what else is going to happen? What else is going to be set for for All Out to make it the biggest show in AEW history? People are wondering what's going to happen. How people are wondering, what is CM Punk enough to make this a big show? Because you have a terrible women's champion, so anybody who has to carry her, that match is going to be not even a really good match. The TNT Championship, we'll get into that. That's going to be a good match. It's not really a big match unless you count Premier, but it's like the biggest match and the biggest segment you have is CM Punk. And of course, in my opinion, you don't need anything else. You have CM Punk. Yes, I know people are not liking the fact that Christian Cage is taking on Kenny Omega again, because they just had that match 2 weeks ago on Rampage. But this, in my opinion, feels like they're just shooting too much. I don't know what we're going to get. It would be huge. It would be fucking huge. But if it is going to happen that Bryan Danielson is going to be at All Out, when does he show up? Who is his first opponent? Who is his first feud going to be? And who will he target? That is the question. I don't know. I honestly, I look up and down the card of All Out and I don't really see a spot that would make sense, because you're not gonna have Bryan Danielson come in and and go after CM Punk. That would be stupid. That'd be too early for that. I couldn't tell you. It's like maybe Miro, after Miro goes to his opponent. That would be interesting. I just don't. I don't have a clue. I don't have a clue who could actually be, where they would fit Bryan Danielson in there, if that's true. Now, it could be wrong. It could be they got the information wrong, but I'm not going to sit there and say they did. This will be interesting to see what happens at All Out. If Bryan Danielson is going to be there, it could be two reasons. And the biggest reason is that New York's COVID situation and the fact that they are an awful position, more than just COVID, with the terrible mayor they've had over the last, I don't know how long. And they might be, and the governor just he resigned, so they're going to have to go through all that. We could possibly see that in the coming weeks that AEW has to cancel that and go to Daily's place for a week because whatever. But it's going to be very interesting to see what happens if it is true that Bryan Danielson is there at All Out, and they do still have the Grand Slam, which I'm hoping still goes off. What are they going to do big there? The only thing that I think that would happen at Grand Slam if Bryan Danielson is at All Out is Bryan Danielson's first match, which will be fantastic. And they'll have the winner of the Women's Battle Royal will take on the Faker at that place, because even though I don't like her and a lot of people don't like her, and if you actually look at the crowd, they are clearly piping in cheers for her, because she's, if you actually watch the crowd, yeah, there's some people cheering for her, there's some people clapping for her, but if you actually look at the crowd and you look at people who are reacting, 75% of the crowd is not reacting to this woman. They don't give a shit. But that is anytime you put a championship, especially in AEW, anytime you put a championship on the line in a pay-per-view match or on TV, it's a big fucking deal. So whoever wins the Battle Royal for the women's number one contenders probably will get their match at the stadium, at this Grand Slam, if that is still there. Which, as of right now, it is, but we will see. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about Bryan Danielson going to be at All Out, which will be next week. Now, moving on to Rampage. Now, commentators might claim Taz, Chris Jericho, and Excalibur because they think that a four-man booth is something we need to see. This show, of course, was taped on Wednesday, so the matches have already been spoiled. Some idiots were thinking, oh, well, Adam Cole's a free agent. He canceled his Twitch stream for today, so maybe he's got to be at Rampage tonight. And I'm like, you people are idiots. He could have been at SmackDown if he re-signed with WWE, but no words have happened about Adam Cole re-signing with WWE. No one knows what's going on with Adam Cole. He could show up on Monday. God forbid that happens. He could show up on Wednesday. He could be the guy who actually shows up at All Out. We don't know. But this show was a one-match show, and it was the very first match on the card. The Lucha Bros versus Jurassic Express. This was the finals of the Tag Team Eliminator Tournament. The winners will go to the cage match at All Out to take on the Young Bucks for the tag team titles. This was a fucking good match. Now, before Rampage went on the air, before they started taping it, Tony Khan brought out Giannis Antetokounmpo and I believe one of his brothers and gifted him an AEW replica championship. And Giannis was in the front row on the hard cams, on the side of the hard cam. And they kept flashing to him all the time. He was jumping up. He was reacting. This guy is obviously a wrestling fan because he goes out there. You couldn't miss him. He's fucking huge. But everything that happened, he just gave this reaction of excitement and just great to be there and happiness and everything. And it was holy shit. This you don't see this in WWE. When you see wrestling, when you see these guys there, when you see pro athletes there, you might flash to them and show, hey, look, there's this person or here's that person, but you don't ever see them reacting like this. So, this was again a really good match. Penta is good. Fucking Phoenix is fantastic. Jungle Boy is going to be a major star in AEW for years to come. Luchasaurus is also really good too. Now, the Lucha Bros won this match. There was no doubt about who I thought was going to win this match, even if not you did not see the spoilers. But there was a spot where we had Jungle Boy gets hit with a Canadian Destroyer by Penta on the outside. Then Phoenix does the same thing to Luchasaurus in the middle of the ring. Now, a little bit before that, Phoenix, this motherfucker, walks the goddamn ropes while Jungle Boy is sitting on the apron, or on the top rope, getting ready to go out and splash and take out Pentagon. This motherfucker tight-wops the middle rope, comes over, and hits a Hurricane Rana onto Jungle Boy to the outside. And that was fucking crazy. Phoenix is just damn good. So many kickouts, so many close falls. The Greek Freak was going crazy. You could see him they didn't have to flash to him because when he stood up, you could see him at the bottom of the camera. And he was just going crazy, thinking this part of the match was over, or this was going to be the finish. In the end, Luchasaurus takes the package power driver double combo, the spike package power driver, 1, 2, 3, and the Lucha Bros beat the Jurassic Express in what is by far the match of the night. Should have been the main event. Yes, I know Kenny Omega was in the main event in a match that was not something that I would have put I would have booked anyway, but they needed 3 matches for tonight. They could have literally did anything else. But here you go. So, after that, the Young Bucks come out. They try to beat up on the Lucha Bros. And they do get some cheap shots in, but the Jurassic Express slowly stopped that, and that is that. We see a beautifully made vignette highlighting CM Punk's soon-to-be in-ring debut. Absolutely fantastic. And then out comes Miro for an in-ring segment. He comes down, throwing around poor Fuego del Sol. As you remember, 2 weeks ago, Fuego wrestled him in a match. If he would have won, he would get a contract, which of course he lost. And he got a contract anyway, of course. Miro is not happy about this, so he beats him up and he brings him out, says, I was going to forgive you, I forgive you for your sins, but first, show your face to the world. Rips the mask off, smash kicks Soul in the face. Eddie music hits, has a mic, puts the mic down, says, fuck this shit, runs to the ring. They has fight for a good bit. Referees come down to restore order. Fans are absolutely behind Eddie as they chant his name. Miro retreats as Bryce Rensburg, who is friends with Eddie Kingston, chalks him down from his rage, and it is official at All Out. Eddie Kingston will take on Miro for the TNT Championship. That is going to be a fucking great match, I think. But, like I said, what's going to happen in All Out? We only have a little over a week to go. Moxley's taking on Satoshi Kojima, and Miro is taking on Eddie Kingston. Man, this is going to be crazy. Moving on to the Bunny versus Tay Conti. This match is happening because of what happened on Wednesday when the Bunny tried to get Tay Conti to join the HFO, and Bunny just said, Tay Conti said, fuck this shit, I'm going to beat your ass. So, the Bunny pretty much gets her ass kicked in this match completely. Even though she ambushed Tay Conti from the beginning, she's beaten, Tay Conti's just owning her and beating the shit out of her and just making her bitch. When Penelope Ford comes down, now in real life, Penelope Ford and Allie, the Bunny, are really good friends, best friends if you could say that. Allie's on her stream, she talks about her friendship with Penelope Ford all the time. So it would only make sense in everything that if the Bunny was going to have some backup, then Tay Conti, not Tay, but Penelope Ford makes sense. Now, this leads to referee getting distracted, the Blade handing Bunny the brass knucks, she knocks out Tay Conti, gets the pin in the win, and Penelope and the Bunny celebrate. This could lead to the return of Tay's best friend, Anna Jay. If Anna Jay is able to go, she could totally be in. See, I'm thinking Ruby Soho is going to be the 21st and final member of the Battle Royal coming on next Sunday. If it's not Ruby Soho, then it would not surprise me if it's Anna Jay. Anna Jay, of course, has not been seen since she went down with that shoulder injury during the Women's Eliminator. Oh, I'm sorry, no. When she was training for the Women's Eliminator Tournament, which she did not get to participate in, and that's when Maddie Winkowski took her spot in that show. So, I could totally see the Bunny, Anna Jay, the Bunny and Penelope Ford beating the shit out of Tay Conti, just focusing on her. The 21st number hits, and Anna Jay's music hits. She comes running down and she beats them up, and those two have a powwow. They end up both getting eliminated, and yeah, I could see that being a thing. Backstage, we get they did announce one match for next week. This is something we usually don't see. But next week, of course, will be a live edition of AEW Rampage, which is going to be in the Now Center on Friday. I believe it's sold out, or it's close to being sold out, as Darby Allin will take on Daniel Garcia. So that is the first match announced for next week. It also was announced that at All Out, it will be Eddie Kingston versus the TNT champion Miro, and the Young Bucks taking on the Lucha Bros. Both of those matches will be good. And Matt Hardy said it himself, the Lucha Bros versus the Young Bucks inside a steel cage could steal the show. AEW Champion Kenny Omega and Brandon Cutler versus Impact Champion Christian Cage and Frankie Kazarian. Why was this match happening? I don't know. You had Mike, and even I believe it was Mark Henry said it best. Or I think it was Taz, one of those two. You have Brandon Cutler being a stooge. Michael Nakazawa was there too. Why wasn't this Kenny Omega? Why wasn't this Brandon Cutler and Michael Nakazawa versus Christian Cage and Frankie Kazarian on an episode of Dark or something, getting beat up for the troubles of being friends with Kenny Omega or being the stooges of Kenny Omega? With Kenny Omega watching from the stage like the Young Bucks have done for the last few weeks. Also, it was announced on Wednesday next week, we will have the Lucha Bros and the Jurassic Express taking on the Elite, which is the Impact and AEW World Tag Team Champions, teaming up to take on those 4 men. So that'll be a hell of a match. So, basically, Brandon Cutler is such a goofball. There were some times in this match where Brandon Cutler, Kazarian was down, Brandon Cutler is dancing and doing these dance moves. He does a dab fucking elbow drop, which fucking Mark Henry's like, does he not realize that the dab is out of style now? And he does a couple more dance moves, goes for another elbow, he misses. Then Cage gets tagged in, Kenny Omega is in as well. And Christian Cage goes for a reverse DDT. And it was so fucking hilarious because Brandon Cutler is like sitting in the corner. He runs to stop this, but he's too late. And Christian Cage pulls the move off, laying out Omega while Brandon Cutler falls face first over everything. So much crazy shit. Of course, Christian goes for the kill switch towards the end of the match. Omega on Omega. Omega says, "Fuck this shit, I'm out of here." And Omega leaves. So Brandon Cutler eats a spear, kill switch, 1, 2, 3. And that is that. And the match is over. Rampage goes off with Christian Cage and Frankie Kazarian winning the match and celebrating with the fans. This will be... I know people... I can just see when the ratings come out on Monday, people are going to be like, oh, look, they went below 1 million. AEW, Rampage is a failure. Rampage is going downhill. Rampage is going to suck forever. Shut the fuck up. It's an episode that is on... It's a show that's on at 10 o'clock on a Friday night, and it's still doing better numbers than NXT. If you think about that. The first 2 episodes of Rampage have done better numbers than NXT. Here's the thing. Until TNT and Warner Media have a problem with the ratings, then you shouldn't have a problem with the ratings either. If I know it's and anybody thinks that this number is not going to drop this week, you're fucking stupid. This is going to be just it was a so-so show. There wasn't anything else you need to say about it, but we'll see what happens next week. I fully expect to see CM... next week is going to have Darby Allin versus Daniel Garcia. If CM Punk is not on commentary for that match, what the hell are they doing? That makes all the sense in the world to have CM Punk there in Chicago 2 days before the pay-per-view, watching and commentating on his opponent who goes up against Daniel Garcia. It makes fucking sense. Or, they got to have CM Punk on the show. That's all I got to say. CM Punk on the show is the only thing that makes sense. We will see. Now, moving over to SmackDown, you remember SummerSlam? You remember when Becky Lynch made her return to a pop and then proceeded to bury Bianca Belair, and I actually said, you know what, I'm going to wait to see what they do on Friday. Friday is going to be a telling of what they do because Bianca Belair can come out, say what she has to say, and then beat the shit out of Becky Lynch and turn heel and be the top heel to go up against the man and everything they have. But it came out on Sunday that Becky Lynch is supposed to be a heel. Becky Lynch asked to be a heel, and Becky Lynch decided she wanted to pull a Stone Cold Steve Austin. Here's the problem. Becky Lynch came out to a massive ovation. She didn't even, before she even talked, huge amount of Becky chants. She didn't do a single heel thing outside of 2 small things that the crowd didn't even really have a boo or heel reaction to. So can someone explain to me how this woman is a fucking heel? She comes out, she's like, the man is back. It's great to be back and be back on top, because when I gave it the championship a year and a half ago, I felt like I lost a piece of me. And she literally sat there and she's like, I really missed you guys. Now, if she was a heel, why the fuck did she not say, nah, just kidding, or something like that? Why did Becky Lynch come off as a babyface? Didn't come out. And then she's like, you know what? My return at SummerSlam, there was a little bit of controversy, and I would like to apologize for absolutely nothing. And she laughed it off and everything. And wait a minute, that's a heel thing. You would say that, and that'd be heel. She got cheered. There was maybe a few boos here and there, because there are people who are frankly tired of Becky Lynch, even in the form that she is. But there was no heel work here. Out comes Bianca Belair, who, she's like, I'm not going to make excuses because that's not me, but girl, if you think that I'm going to let what happened at SummerSlam slide, that's just not my game. So she challenges Becky Lynch to a match tonight for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Before Becky could say anything, out comes perennial loser number 1, Zelina Vega, who says that Belair needs to, you are used to coming out and crying for a rematch. She thinks Belair should fall back and let Vega have a title shot, which I'm thinking to myself, and I said this on Vines, how about you win a match first? What makes you think you have the right to win it, to have a championship match, when you haven't even won a fucking match in your entire return? She has lost every single match she has had since she came back to the company. Someone explain to me how this motherfucker thinks she has any right to challenge for a championship. I would really, 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 really love to know. So, can someone, who knows what the fuck they're talking about, tell me what makes this woman think that being a perennial loser warrants a title match? I couldn't tell you what the fuck she's thinking about. Is she a delusional woman? If you want to win matches, if you win match after match after match, and then you come out and say, you know what, I won a title shot, then I would fucking agree with you. But you haven't fucking won a match since you came back right before Money in the Bank. So what the fuck do you think gives you the goddamn right to come out and say you should get a title match? It doesn't make any fucking sense. On top of that, you got your ass beat very quickly last week, so again, why should you get a title match? Then out comes Carmella, who says pretty much the same thing, that she should get the title match. And I think again, why don't you win a match? When was the last time you actually won a match? It's been months. At least I believe she's won at least one match in the last 6 months. At least one. So why are you not trying to win a match? Can you explain that one to me? Then out came Liv Morgan. And I'm like, okay, at least Liv Morgan has won some matches. She might not have won all of her matches, but she's actually won matches. She's beaten both of you. So why the fuck why would anyone in that ring, besides maybe Bianca Belair, who should get an actual rematch, because that's what it is, and Liv Morgan, neither one of the other two should even be in the conversation for a championship match. Especially when a certain somebody is saying later in the night, talking to Sonya Deville, she would deserve a women's championship match over those two. So, Bianca's like, Becky, forget all those. How about me and you tonight? Becky says, nah, and leaves. Not tonight. And that's it. No heel tactics. She just says, nah. And there was a tiny bit of booze here, tiny bit of booze there. But people were still cheering Becky. So explain to me again, how's this woman a fucking heel? I don't understand how anyone could sit there and say, oh yeah, she's a heel. She's a massive heel. I didn't see it. Tell me to anybody who actually saw that and thought that Becky Lynch was a heel. Now, what would have made Becky a heel was because she left, everyone started to brawl, and Liv Morgan was the last one in the ring. You wanted to make Becky feel more heelish, she would have turned around, came back in, beat the shit out of Liv Morgan, left her laying, Bianca comes in, she gets beat up by Becky, and Becky leaves them laying, and boom, Becky's a heel. But Becky walked away as if she was still the biggest babyface in the company. Somebody, apparently this is Becky's idea, which I highly doubt. And the inspiration behind her quote-unquote heel turn is Roman Reigns. Here's the difference, Becky. Here's the difference, Vince, Bruce, and anybody else. Roman Reigns, Joe Anoa'i, is a natural-born heel. The character, Roman Reigns, is born to be a heel character. He is a Samoan related to The Rock. You can't get more heel than I'm better than everyone, and I'm The Rock's cousin or whatever, and you just play off of that. Roman Reigns, we've been wanting a heel for 4.5, maybe 5 years. Nobody wants to see Becky Lynch a heel, because it's not going to work. Brian Alvarez and them talked about this at the beginning of the week, and pointed this out. Look at what happened when Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania 17, X7, whatever you want to say, turned heel. Now, had The Rock not left for Hollywood, you could have had that guy to replace Stone Cold Steve Austin. If you're on a scale 1 to 100, Becky for the women's division is at 100. Everybody else is at 50 or below. Even the Showbound 9000 is at 50 or fucking below. Becky Lynch is the megastar that Vince McMahon wanted Charlotte to be, but she could never be. And you want to turn her heel and allow her to be a heel when you have nobody to take her fucking place as a babyface because you are shit at building babyfaces? Rhea Ripley probably could have been that woman, but you fucked up her run since last year when she lost the NXT Women's Championship to Charlotte 9000 at WrestleMania in front of nobody, and she has not regained that momentum since. Comes up to the main roster, wins the Raw Women's Championship from Asuka at WrestleMania, and then has one of the worst runs as the women's champion because Vince McMahon can't decide if she's a heel or a babyface. The entire time, it's like, oh, she's a heel one week, the next week, oh, she's somehow a babyface now. This company just, Becky Lynch might want to be a heel. I'm fine with that. Maybe she wants to change her character up. Maybe she has that feeling that Stone Cold Steve Austin had in 2001 when he wanted to change heel. Like, the reason that they turned Stone Cold heel was because he felt like his babyface character was stagnant. I can understand that that's how Becky Lynch feels. But she is at the height of her popularity. Do not hear the chants for Becky. She is the most popular, most over babyface they have had in the women's division since Trish Stratus or Lita when they were babyfaces back in the day. And Asuka could have been that. Asuka could have been that woman who becomes the biggest babyface in the company, but you sacrificed her to put a notch on Charlotte's belt. If you would have built Asuka up as the next big fucking killer for the women's division, being the biggest fucking badass, you would have made that woman. You would have had that woman made, but you had to have Charlotte beat her in a match that should have went Asuka's way. Charlotte, they've tried multiple times. She is a natural-born heel. Never make her a babyface, but hey, WWE's got to continue to try and throw things at the wall to try to get on to work. And it just doesn't work. So again, after tonight, how does Becky Lynch look to you? To me, she looks like she's still the biggest fucking babyface in the company, and they did not. It's like, if you wanted this woman to be heel, maybe she's a babyface now. Again, maybe they went, well, this is going to be a bad idea. we might as well just keep her as a babyface. When she said, I really missed you guys, if she was going to actually be a heel, this is what you do. I really missed you guys. Not, or something like, I'm just kidding, I didn't miss you guys at all. Something. Not a single thing came off as she's a fucking heel at all tonight. So I still want to know, what makes Becky Lynch a fucking heel? Beats the living shit out of me. Because I couldn't tell you. I could not fucking tell you. So we had a Fatal 4-Way elimination match. Bianca Belair, Carmella, Liv Morgan, and Zelina Vega after we went to commercial break. And obviously, the two people who, in my opinion, should be nowhere near the Women's Division Championship were eliminated 1 and 2. Obviously, Zelina Vega was beat first because she's such a fucking loser. She got beat first. Then Liv Morgan beat Carmella, and then Liv Morgan and Bianca Belair went on to have a pretty damn good one-on-one match. Which, honestly, I'm not surprised. Bianca Belair is really good. I still wish they would make her a fucking heel. She's not... Like, if you go back, and I can't, we have to say this again, you go back and watch her NXT days before Shayna Baszler became the queen of everything. When she was a bitch heel, Bianca Belair thrived the most. Now, I know it's going to be hard to make her a heel because she is married to Montez Ford, and they do have Bianca Belair interact with the Street Profits, and it wouldn't make sense unless you turn the Street Profits heel, but you're not going to ever turn the Street Profits heel because that's a babyface gimmick. The only way you're going to make any of those guys heel is if you make Montez Ford a heel when Dawkins and him eventually break up because you know it's coming. But, again, you had a quick eliminations of Vega and Carmella because, again, they're both perennial losers who have no business being near the Women's Championship. So Liv and Belair have themselves a pretty damn good one-on-one match, but KOD ends the night for Liv Morgan, and of course Bianca Belair moves on to face Becky Lynch. Hey, look at this! What a concept! 4 women vying who want to be women's champion facing off in an elimination match to see who goes to face the champion. Why don't we see this more often, like matches like this? Why happen to number 1 contenders matches? Why are we getting championship contenders matches for the women's tag team titles? Which, by the way, Tegan Nox and Shotzi Blackheart have won 2 of those and have yet to get their women's tag team title match. Yeah, why not just enough of these fucking championship contenders matches and have the person that you want to have go up against the champion actually earn it by beating another contender? It just makes more sense. Yes, like I said, it should have been Liv Morgan versus Bianca Belair. The other two have no business being around the championship, even though I know Liv Morgan has been around for like a month or two, since Money in the Bank. I think it was the last time we saw Liv Morgan. Still, she has more of a right to ask for, try and get a women's championship match than Carmella and Vega have any right to do. But here you are. Now, after that, it's going to be Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch. Now, I gotta say one more thing about Bianca Belair. Becky's out there smiling, being the quote-unquote heel she's supposed to be. Bianca comes out, and remember, this woman got beat in 27 seconds at SummerSlam. 27 seconds. Why is she coming out, flapping her hair around? Why is she flipping her hair around, pretending like everything's fine? Nothing happened. She didn't get embarrassed in front of the largest crowd in WWE for WWE in 2021. This woman should have come down, serious look on her face, coming down here, pissed off, out for fucking blood. But she comes out as if everything's cool. Wow, I got embarrassed, but it doesn't bother me. Nah, man, that just makes it even worse. You made her look stupid tonight. Bianca Belair looked fucking stupid. That's all I can say on that one. My goodness, they made Bianca Belair look so bad tonight. So, Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch, it'll happen in Extreme Rules. It will be a proper match next time, which I know the WWE Puritans will be like, oh, see, they're going to have a proper match in Extreme Rules. That's not the point. They did what they did at SummerSlam for shock value only. They could have made up for that by having Bianca come out, congratulate fucking Becky, whatever, and then take the microphone, bash Becky in the head, beat her down, and leave her in a pool of her own piss and blood, and to make Bianca Belair the biggest fucking heel in the company for the women's division on SmackDown. But no, they kept her a babyface. And by the way, Sasha Banks, what's this going to do for her? Will Sasha Banks return to SmackDown? Will she be going to Monday Night Raw in the draft to go try and do something over there? If not, she is the biggest fucking heel they have on SmackDown. And she has, and they established this, she has her little group of Vega and Carmella, so why would you make Becky Lynch a fucking heel? Again, it makes no fucking sense. This company makes no sense. I can't even with this company sometimes. So, we see stills from SummerSlam while an uncensored version of Cardi B's Up single plays. I hope WWE actually had someone listen to that song, because Cardi B's that song is talking about jumping up and down on some dick. Just saying. Cole hypes tonight's main event segment, which will be the family celebration with Roman Reigns and the Usos, which they announced earlier as a championship celebration. We get a SummerSlam video package on Roman Reigns and the Usos. Kayla is backstage with Paul Heyman again. He's annoyed at her. He gets locked out of Roman's locker room. The Usos finally open the door and say Reigns isn't here. The Usos think Heyman knew Lesnar would be in SummerSlam, but he says he didn't. Heyman asks why would he tear down what they all worked so hard to build up. Which, by the way, the Usos and Roman later on are wearing The Bloodline t-shirts, which has Roman, the Usos, and Heyman on them. Drew suits and red ties with the Universal Championship in front of them, with Roman at the head of the table. The Usos ask why they sent him back to the locker room before Roman's match with John Cena. Heyman says, that wasn't me. That was Roman Reigns. They're not buying him, question a bit more before walking back into the suite without him. Which you can see that Heyman's starting to question everything while that happens. Moving on, we go to Chad Gable versus Cesaro with, of course, Chad Gable's with Otis. We see what happened with these guys a couple weeks ago, apparently. This match goes maybe 2-3 minutes. Cesaro swing, but Otis hits the ring and drops him for the disqualification. Because, of course, he did. The Alpha Academy, and I have to say this, it's like, Mysterios should not have dropped the titles to the Usos. They should have dropped them to the Alpha Academy. The Alpha Academy hold them for about 2-3 months. And then the Alpha Academy drop them to the Street Profits. And then the Street Profits drop them to the Usos around the TLC pay-per-view. How hard would that have been? How hard would that have been? But no, the Alpha Academy are just spinning their wheels while Otis plays Hitman for Chad Gable and Bodyguard. After the bell, the referees call for the match. The Alpha Academy double team Cesaro and destroy him. Gable holds Cesaro down while a second bro turnbuckle by Otis, which, by the way, they did a lariat German suplex to Cesaro, and that looked fucking brutal because how Cesaro's neck landed. Holy shit. So, I don't know what they're doing with the Alpha Academy, but it just seems like they don't even have any idea what they're doing with these guys. Alright, here. Out comes Baron Corbin, who introduced as Happy Corbin, as the red apron covered the ring and velvet ropes. A table with champagne on it. He has a casino slots entrance theme now, and he's thrilled. He enters the ring and talks about how happy he is. He was so close to filing for bankruptcy, and he was down over the past few months. But things changed, and now he's happy. He's rich. We see a video package of how he lucked out in Las Vegas this past week, which I call bullshit, because if you luck out too much, then yeah, Vegas casinos aren't really happy about that. He has the mayor of Jackpot. He said he was the mayor of Jackpot City. He doesn't know what he did to deserve this, but he deserves it. He brags about his expensive clothes and watch and his $30,000 Bentley he drove herein. His wife welcomed him back, and he had Wagyu beef on the table. Some fans chant, "You deserve it," and he agrees. He wants us to call him Happy Corbin because he really is happy. But there's one thing that can make him even happier, and he calls out Biggie and promises not to hurt him. Out comes Biggie with the Money in the Bank briefcase, and what do you think Corbin wants to do now? He wants to buy the Money in the Bank briefcase from Biggie. And he's throwing out these huge amount of numbers, 50,000, 100,000, 20,000. You know, Biggie's not interested. Corbin's like, you know what? You know, you're probably going to lose that. You're probably going to cash in and fail. It happens a bunch of times. Biggie actually says, "You mean like you?" Corbin's like, "Yes, it happened to me too. I'm just trying to help you." Biggie says, "You know what? You better get the step in or you're going to get hurt." Corbin's like, "You know what? Fine. I'm out of here." And walks away happy as can be. So, Baron Corbin is no longer a bum ass. He's Happy Corbin now. I don't give a shit. I don't think anyone should give a shit. But Corbin's happy. We all should be happy, I guess, for Happy Corbin. We see a Progressive sponsored video package of Hall of Famer Edge beating Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. Edge is backstage now and the fans boo. Wow. Says SummerSlam was pretty damn satisfying as he defeated a generational talent, but he has to pay for it as he had to go to dark places to get where he needed to be. Which, by the way, Gangrel on his podcast commented that because of the Brood Bath on Friday last week at SummerSlam, he was supposed to make some kind of appearance in AEW on Wednesday, and apparently this has been confirmed by AEW, and they paid him as if he was there, but they canceled the spot because of this. And I'm like, I don't buy that for a fucking second. What the hell would he have done on that show that would have made anybody give a shit about it? Oh, we're supposed to make some kind of Brood entrance. We're like, oh, please. He can't even be called Gangrel. WWE owns Gangrel when it comes to wrestling on a major show like that. So, yeah, I don't buy that one bit. He says his thing with Rollins is over and done with, and he's moving on. He says he's moving on to what Rollins cost him in the first place, the Universal title. Then we go to Seth Rollins. I don't know what the fuck he was wearing this week. He's only got one thing to say to Edge. Congratulations. He has a week to think about what happened. Some people saying it was match of the year. No one's saying that. It was a good match, but not match of the year. While it was certainly one of Edge's best performances, it was a loss for Rollins. He said it taught him a lot about himself. It paints in the mid. Edge earned his respect. He admires Edge in his Hall of Fame career and the life he's built for himself. Says if he wants to fight his way back to Universal title, maybe he needs a little bit more be more like Edge. Thanks Edge and congratulates him again to end the segments. So, we're getting another match out of those two, aren't we? Extreme Rules, I guarantee it's going to happen. It was a good match at the pay-per-view. I'm not going to deny that. It was a damn good match. Probably the match of the night. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. That was probably the best match. I mean, yeah, Roman and Cena was good too. But, Roman and Cena didn't have the history. They didn't have, I wouldn't say the history because they have faced each other before. Only it was a different Roman Reigns compared to the one we have now. But it just didn't feel like it had that personal vendetta or that personal ingredient to the match. Whereas Edge and Seth Rollins did. So, and it just felt like Edge and Seth Rollins was just far superior. And hey, it happens. Nothing you can say about it. It happens. But yeah, I could see them doing another one. I really don't know what else you could do because it looks like we already have somebody else going for the Universal title. So we go to Rick Boogs, who is over with the fucking crowd. He comes out and he says, "My name is Rick," and the crowd goes, "Boogs." So the dude's over. Some people don't like the gimmick. People are saying he stole the gimmick from Elias, who is now no longer a guitarist, but he's a wrestler only. Same thing, and people are saying now that Baron Corbin is rich. He stole Cameron Grimes' gimmick, which I feel for Cameron Grimes when he comes up to the main roster, because he's not going to be Cameron Grimes, rich boy. He's going to be Cameron Grimes, the something else. But Rick Boogs and Nakamura took on Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler. This was a really good match. Rick Boogs gets his second win, getting another pump handle slam onto Dolph Ziggler. Nothing special about the match, but it was still a fun match to watch. Boogs, this is how you get people over. People love Boogs. People were chanting his name when he says, "My name is Rick." They say Boogs. They're not booing him, they say Boogs. And he's winning. It's what a concept, getting a young talent to win matches, beating veterans like Dolph Ziggler, like Apollo Crews, who's been in the WWE for at least 5 or so years. This is how you get the guy to where people will actually see him as somebody worth a damn later on. I know some people don't give a damn about his thing, but it doesn't matter. He is good. People like Rick Boogs. Deal with it. So, God, is it fucking hot. Fuck a hot weather. What happens with Nakamura? I don't see them going for the WWE, for the tag team titles anytime soon. But it's great to see that Rick Boogs is getting time in the ring, and we're going to see more of Rick Boogs as the time goes on. Shit. Now, Naomi is backstage with Sonya Deville, who seems to be preoccupied with the phone, doesn't even really care to hear from Naomi. So this rumor that Naomi was coming to SmackDown has finally come to fruition. And she's wanting to know when her first match is going to be back on SmackDown. And Sonya Deville comes up from the phone and is like, "Hey Naomi, I didn't even know you were going. I didn't even know you were going to be on this show or coming to SmackDown. Nobody told me." So, of course, that's probably Adam Pearce who did that. Well, you know what? I don't know if you're going to be able to measure up. She actually said that. I don't know if you're going to be able to measure up, which pisses off Naomi, which of course it would piss me off too, and says, "I'm a former 2-time SmackDown Women's Champion." And Naomi's just not having any of this. And, of course, she says, "Well, I'll figure it out next week." Which, of course, Naomi is not happy. She wanted a match tonight. So, yeah, Naomi's back on SmackDown. We all knew that was coming. Good for her. Good for her. We see Rey Mysterio and Dominic backstage. Rey says he needs to step back and let his son fly on his own, but he will always have his son's back. Dominic's like, what does that mean? Dominic clearly not happy with the fact that his father pretty much just is blowing him off or doing something else. And he said he has to step back and let Dominic go on his own, which in my opinion I agree. Rey says he spoke to Adam Pearce and got a Dominic match tonight, and he doesn't know who the opponent's going to be, but he's confident Dominic goes out there with his head up and focused. He will do fine. It's just, you could just tell Dominic wasn't happy with this. He didn't like the reaction from Dominic. He's like, "Wait a minute, what? You're dropping me? You don't want to tag with me anymore? What's going on here?" Clearly, this has got to be setting up to what I have been calling for a good while. Dominic versus Rey Mysterio. I honestly don't think it's a good idea to do it at Extreme Rules. Maybe they'll hold that off till... And then SummerSlam would have been the perfect time to do it, but obviously they didn't want to do that. SummerSlam, WrestleMania, one of those 2 times. But it looks like we're not going to get that at one of those big pay-per-views. It probably will happen at Extreme Rules or in Saudi Arabia. God forbid, because nobody wants to go to Saudi Arabia. So, yeah. It's got to happen because Dom just can't stand dealing with his father. Because that's, like, he's just, like, his father comes out, lectures him all the time, and now, to Dom, he probably feels like his father's just abandoning him, which, in my opinion, yes, Dominic needs to be on his own to see how he can do on his own because he's been shielded by his father since the very beginning of his career last year in WWE. And honestly, they won the tag team titles together, they lost the rematch, they lost the titles, they lost the rematch, there's nothing left for those two to do unless they want to start from the bottom, and I honestly think that Rey's time doing stuff with his son needs to come to an end, and it needs to come to the end with Dominic beating his father and moving on from him. So Dominic comes out, who is his mystery opponent, and this is where the comedy comes in the best. Everyone knows that tonight, at midnight last night, Adam Cole officially became a free agent. And nobody knows what's going on with Adam Cole. There's no high, no hair, no nothing of Adam Cole, whether he's signing with AEW, going back to WWE, and honestly, who knows? We won't know until it either comes out that Adam Cole is signed with WWE or signed with AEW, or he shows up on Raw, SmackDown, or AEW on Wednesday nights. Or All Out next Sunday, even though that looks like that's going to be Bryan Danielson now. Who knows? Only Adam Cole knows. Only the people he's talking to, whether it's WWE, Tony Khan. I mean, today was the first time Adam Cole can legally talk to Tony Khan. Even he can talk to Tony Khan, Scott D'Amore, Gato. He can talk to fucking Billy Corgan. He can talk to all those guys. Whoever runs Ring of Honor. He can talk to all of them now. You gotta remember, Adam Cole could go back to WWE. He could go to AEW. He can go to Impact. Doubt it. He can go to Ring of Honor. That I can actually see him doing because Ring of Honor is not the Ring of Honor he left. He could go to New Japan Pro Wrestling. He can go to NWA. We don't know. But people actually thought that Adam Cole was going to be Dominic's opponent tonight. Which would have been fucking crazy and would have been a way to debut Adam Cole. But if Adam Cole does come to the main roster, re-signed with WWE, keep him away from SmackDown and anywhere Michael Cole is, because I do not, and I repeat, do not want to see any storyline where it's like, oh my god, Adam Cole is the long-lost son of Michael Cole. Please, let's not do that. So, who knows what's going to happen with Adam Cole. But no, it was Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn walked out. They had a pretty good match. Of course, before we even go to commercial break, of course Ray has to come down and try and shout stuff to his son to tell him, do this, do that, look out for this, look out for that, come on son, you got this. And in the end, it costs Dominic. Dominic gets beat he goes for something, he misses. Exploder suplex, haluva kick, 1, 2, 3. Dominic gets beat by Sami Zayn. Sami leaves. He won his first match in a while. Which, this is the first time we've seen Sami Zayn since, I believe, his match with Kevin Owens. Which, by the way, Kevin Owens and Corey Graves were on commentary tonight because Pat McAfee came down with COVID-19. Speedy recovery to Pat McAfee. Any illness, hope anybody recovers. Just, it is what it is. People wanted it to be Bayley, which in my opinion it would have been funnier if it was Bayley, but nah, she doesn't need to spend time on commentary. But Ray comes in to help Dominic, and Dominic's just like, nah, pushes his father away, and walks back up the ramp, and just doesn't even give a shit. He's done. He doesn't want to be around his father. So the breakup's coming. Dominic's got to turn on his father. He's trying to do what he can do to win matches or do stuff in matches, and his father just keeps preaching to him how to do it this way, how to do it his way. Dominic is tired of this. It's got to be getting to him, and then boom, he's done. Dominic will probably turn on him, and we'll get that match at Extreme Rules, which we'll see how that goes. Now it is time for the main event segment, which is the Usos, Roman, and that. By the way, WWE advertised that Brock Lesnar would be on this show. Spoiler alert, Brock Lesnar was not at SmackDown tonight. He was not backstage. So people were actually hoping to see what would happen with Brock Lesnar. Nowhere to be found. WWE played up with Paul Heyman about the thing with Brock Lesnar. But Roman just didn't even care. He didn't even pretend he wasn't, he was just holding it in or whatever. It was like business as usual for him because Heyman was about to hand in the Universal title and Roman's like, what are you doing? Raymond's like, it's a family event. It's a family celebration. He's like, you are family. Heyman, you could just see, is still, is he okay with everything? And you just see that he's nervous. He just doesn't want to step out of line and get destroyed by Roman Reigns. So they come out, they do their entrance. Paul Heyman's like, it is time for you guys to acknowledge the tribal chief. Roman says something to him. He says, it's your lucky day. You guys get to acknowledge the reigning, defending, undisputed tag team champions, the Usos. The Usos raise their championships and everything and celebrate. And Heyman brings up that they've seen enough of Cena, of John, and that's thanks to the tribal chief. And out comes Finn Balor. Balor, of course, had a chance at the Universal Championship last, and it was stolen. He's like, I was screwed out of my championship opportunity at SummerSlam, and don't worry, when I see John Cena, I'll deal with John Cena. But you know what? I was coming out here to challenge you for a match at the pay-per-view, but you know what? I'm not even, since I can't trust anybody, I'm not waiting. And I challenge you to a match next Friday. I believe Roman gave him a little smirk. He threw the microphone at him, starts fighting Roman Reigns. So, Roman Reigns and the Usos start beating up on Balor. Here come the Street Profits, who look to be next in line for the Usos, which I'm fine with. They beat down the Usos. Roman Reigns walks to the stage, and the Usos are left laying while the Street Profits and Finn Balor stand tall. Definitely interesting to see what happens here. I wonder how many people thought Brock Lesnar was going to be there. So, yeah. SmackDown was, I guess, better than last week. But Becky, this will be interesting to see what happens with Becky and Bianca, because honestly, it did not feel like a heel turn for her. No Brock Lesnar, so I don't know what's going on with that. I think they're gonna wait for Crown Jewel for that match, because Vince McMahon likes to have big matches. Big title matches. I predict that Crown Jewel is going to be Bobby Lashley versus Goldberg and Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. Give me a break. Who gives a shit? But I believe Balor and Roman will announce for next Friday. Something will probably happen there, and we'll get the match at the pay-per-view. So, that is your SmackDown and Rampage review. Hit that subscribe button. Comment down below. Like or dislike this video. Find me on Minds at the France Club. Find me on Twitch.tv/the France Club. And find me on Instagram at the France Club. And I will see you guys later.